y'all doing? How y'all doing? It's the Daily O'Shea. My name is Keaton Barrion. I'm your host. Big time LSU fan. All my friends that know me, everybody that know me, know I ride hard for them boys, them Bayou Bengals, the champs. Respect them. And basically, I'm here to talk about today why LSU is highly likely to repeat in 2020. Not only do I strongly feel that they can repeat, I strongly feel that they can do what the Nebraska Cornhuskers of 94 and 95 did. And that is repeat flawlessly. Okay? I'm going to have a few episodes explaining in detail each position group and why I feel so strongly about how well LSU would do based on who we had. Today, I'm going to talk about the coaching staff. In my opinion, the reason why Alabama was so successful was not just Nick Saban. It was his ability to surround himself with the best coaching staff. And the proof is in the pudding, where all of his assistant coaches have gone on to get head coaching jobs. And the analysts will go on to get coordinator jobs, When Ed Orgeron first took over at LSU, he immediately changed the offensive coordinator. He went and hired Matt Canada. Matt Canada came in there with them old rinky-dink, gadget plays, and Ed wasn't feeling it. And so Ed made the change to get Matt Canada out of there. A lot of people question Ed. I, myself, question Ed. I must admit, I questioned Ed after the Troy game. I was concerned, like every other LSU fan. Like, hey, does he have a grasp of the team? What's going on? Those weren't his players, though. Since in that same season, the game against Florida in the swamp, the team rallied. And we all remember the famous comeback against Auburn. It was after that I was then sold and have been sold on Ed Orgeron this entire time. Ed Orgeron, by far, is the second best coach in the SEC and easily the hottest coach in the SEC. I'd like for you to try to bring another coach better. You could say Dan Mullen, because Dan Mullen beat it with Mississippi State and he beat it with Florida. Dan Mullen ain't won anything. He hasn't won anything. He hasn't won the division. He hasn't competed in the SEC championship. And he's at Florida now. We'll see if he gets it done in his third year. Because all Ed Orgeron did in his third full-time year as an LSU coach is go undefeated, put up outrageous offensive numbers, have a 14 guys selected to the draft, including the first overall Heisman Trophy winner. I mean, just, the list goes on and on. Shout out to Ed Orgeron for the job that he's done. A lot of y'all like to make fun of Ed Orgeron and how he talks, this and that. Y'all probably never spent a lot of time in Louisiana, to really understand that lingo. Anybody who has spent time in Louisiana, they can understand Ed Orgeron just fine, but I don't think y'all understand that. I don't think the players really particularly like when y'all make fun of how he talks, because that's how the majority of them talk, because they're all from Louisiana for the most part, and you're really kind of making fun of the culture. If you haven't, again, spent a lot of time in Louisiana other than Bourbon Street or, Mardi Gras or Essence Festival, you're not going to really know about the culture that Louisiana possesses. And those guys, they play hard for them. They're going to play hard for him. Ed Orgeron is fresh out of a divorce. He's been focused, extremely focused. He's working hard. He has nothing else to do. I just saw a video yesterday of Ed Orgeron jogging in the middle of the day with no shirt on, looking like a straight goon out there. Big dog. Y'all don't want no problems with Ed Orgeron. Boy, a cold sleep, Nick Saban. It'd be ugly. That's a goon there. The boys play for him. They get motivated for him. Now let's move on with the coaching staff, because, again, everybody wants to say, oh, well, we lost Joe Brady. Shout out to Joe Brady. He did an excellent job of coming in, implementing that Saints offense, and, the rest speaks for itself. Everybody talks about Joe Burrow. They forget that in 18, Joe Burrow only had 2,894 yards and 16 touchdowns. It was the same man. It's just the system changed. He was suited for that system. That's what he ran in high school. We'll talk further about that when we talk about Miles Brennan and what he did in high school and whatnot, and how his college career has gone thus far, eerily similar to Joe Burrow's. But that's another day. We have to give credit to Ed Orgeron for bringing in Joe Brady. He's the one that went and got, but nobody wants to do that. But that's okay. We lost Joe Brady, but we didn't lose the offensive coordinator, Mr. Steve Ensminger. I remember listening to a podcast a long time ago, and they were like, man, either Ed Orgeron is going to be praised for bringing in Steve Ensminger and go down as one of the greatest coaches in LSU history and forever be beloved, or he's going to be fired, one or the other. Well, it went the first way. Steve Ensminger came in with the perfect idea. First of all, somebody who loves the school, played quarterback at LSU. He called the plays. So Brady was in charge of third down. Steve was in charge of first and second. And they collabed on third. Steve Ensminger, I don't know why, I've been hearing a lot that, Joe is gone, so they're going to go back to that old regular LSU offense. I don't know what will make y'all think we're going to do something like that. Like, that would be totally idiotic to go back to what didn't work versus what worked. Y'all probably want to try to figure out how your favorite college football team is going to crack the code and figure out how to stop the offense. That's a whole other conversation, because the players that are coming back, again, I will save that for another day. Y'all don't want to hear me talk about that. It's going to hurt y'all feelings, But Steve Ensminger, offensive coordinator, he's back. We lost Joe Brady. Who we bring in to replace Joe Brady? Good old Scott Linehan, 30 years of NFL experience. Worked with the likes of Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford had his best statistical season. Tony Romo. Tony Romo had his best statistical season. Who were the wide receivers then? Terrell Owens, Megatron. He also worked with Dante Culpepper and Randy Moss in that era with the Minnesota Vikings in the late 90s. What do we know about LSU as far as wide receiver goes? Well, we have the best one in the country. Again, that's a conversation for another day. So we bumped up Mickey Joseph, who is the wide receivers coach and also the assistant the assistant head coach. Mickey Joseph done a great job with the wide receivers. Look how he developed Justin Jefferson. Justin Jefferson came in as a 2-star, finished as a first-round pick. Okay, move on down the line. We got James Craig, offensive line coach. Offensive line was awarded the Joe Moore Award, best offensive line in the country. I don't even need to say anything else. The talent is there. We're huge on the offensive line. We lost a couple of players, but the players behind them are all bigger and athletic. So the offensive line, other people have concerns. I just want to see the cohesiveness, because the athletic ability and the talent is loaded. And with a guy like James Craig as head coach, as the offensive line coach, I think that the development and the cohesiveness is going to go just fine, just like it did this year. Let's not forget that in 2018, LSU had to run out 6 different starting offensive line groups throughout the season due to injury. Got to take the hats off to the coaching staff on that one. We got the special teams coordinator, Greg McMahon. He brought in Cole Tracy. We all remember Cole Tracy. Cade York. Was a freshman last year. Probably need to do a little work. Was enjoying life, but in the Texas game and the Alabama game, didn't miss a field goal. Very clutch. I'm sure that Greg McMahon will work with him. I'm sure he's going to be lights out this year. And the kickoff game, Avery, I forget his first name, but Avery, he's a touchback machine. Then we got strength and conditioning coach, which I believe, is one of the most important coaches on the staff, because they spend the most time with the players. If you're not in shape, you're not going to win. If you're weak, you're not going to win. If you're little, you're not going to win. If you're slow, you're not going to win. Tommy Moffitt might be the best strength and conditioning coach in the country. I mean, just take a look at his track record. So with this whole pandemic going on, I've been listening in to when he's talked to the guys from off the bench, and the things that he said were very interesting as far as how he's gotten the guys to still work hard and be motivated to be in shape despite the pandemic. And now with all the players reporting back June 1st and able to work out June 8th, I'm pretty sure he's going to draw up a great program to get these guys in shape by July, and by the time camp starts in August, they're going to be ready. They're going to be ready to go. So shout out to Tommy Moffitt, great strength and conditioning coach. Let's move on to the defensive side, starting with the brand new defensive coordinator, Mr. Bo Pelini. We all know about Bo Pelini. Yes, sir. When he was at LSU from 2005 to 2007, LSU had the number 3 defense in the country all 3 years. Yes, sir. He went to Nebraska. I don't know what Nebraska was thinking about hiring him, because Nebraska has been hot, cold, trash ever since they let Bo Pelini go. Bo Pelini didn't win less than 9 games in 1 season at Nebraska. He is a defensive-minded genius. He is going to have us going back to that 4-3 defense with them 4 down linemen. We have 6 300-pound defensive linemen, including 2 350-pounders, and nobody can block Tyler Shelvin in the country. That's a whole other discussion for a whole other day. We have an aggressive safety in Jacoby Stevens. He is going to let Jacoby Stevens loose. He is going to have Jacoby Stevens smacking. We got the linebacker from North Dakota State. He is going to let him free. He's going to let him loose. We are loaded on defense with talent, and Pelini is going to have those boys playing aggressive, unlike Dave Aranda. Shout out to Dave Aranda. He did a good job. But last year, Texas game, we were up 20-7 at halftime. Final score was like 45-38. Alabama game, we up 33-13 at halftime. Final score is 46-41. You know, Dave Aranda is a great defensive coordinator. I wish him very well at Baylor. But I'm not a real big fan of the 3-4 defense. I'm more of a fan of the 4-3 defense. You just look at Auburn. Auburn had a freshman quarterback and not really a good offense, but they managed to go 9-3 based off those 4 down linemen and the rest of that defense. But those big boys, Marlon Davidson and what's the other guy's name? Derek Brown, were monsters. We have the same type of monsters. That 4-3 defense is going to be wildly aggressive, and it's not going to be anything you can do about it. Okay? So, yes, we're glad to have Bo Pelini back. I was extremely excited when I heard the rumors about Bo Pelini coming back. Okay? Of course, we got to talk about Corey Raymond. I mean, the best defensive back coach in the country. He's also the recruiting coordinator. I mean, you know, just go down the list: Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Eric Reed, Jalen Mills, Tre'Davious White. Who am I thinking about that was on the team with Tyrann Mathieu? What's his name? Morris Claiborne. He didn't really have that great of a pro career, but he was great in college. Morris Claiborne. You look at last year with Christian Fulton coming out. You got Derek Stingley, Grant Delpit. I mean, the list just goes on and on. Jamal Adams. I mean, defensive backs for days. You know, I mean, if you look at the NFL, there were 3 all-pro defensive backs that came from LSU. That's all in a tribute to Corey Raymond. You know, he just continues to bring in top-tier, top-notch talent at the defensive back position, and he continues to develop them and get them ready for the NFL. I mean, there are guys that go to the NFL from LSU that might not necessarily even start at defensive back at LSU, but they're still going to get there based on his level of development. He's just the best defensive back coach out there. Oh, I forgot one guy on the offensive staff, and how could I forget this? I hate that I forgot this. I have to go back to office for 1 minute. How could I forget? Once again, hats off to Ed Orgeron. That you bring in Kevin Falk. Kevin Falk. A legend in Louisiana. A legendary running back. He holds the record for rushing yards at LSU. Man played 11 years with Bill Belichick. They played 5 Super Bowls. Won 3 of them. He hasn't turned to retire with the New England Patriots. You bring him to the LSU coaching staff. I don't know what you're going to do. Put 3 monsters in the backfield we got. Put 3 monsters in the backfield we got. Who ain't going to listen to Kevin Falk? What running back ain't going to want to come? What running back from Louisiana won't come play for Kevin Falk? What family won't invite Kevin Falk in their house with a couple pounds of fresh broiled crawfish and say, have a seat, Kevin? Nice to have you, sir. So glad you could visit. I mean, what an addition. Shout out to Kevin Falk, man, for coming back. I mean, whew, Lord have mercy. Okay, back to defense. Defensive line coach, Bill Johnson. But we also know that Ed Orgeron keeps his hands and on the D line as well. That's what he does. He's over there with the defensive line guys every practice you watch. I mean, I could go on for days about this defensive line, and I will when I have my defensive line discussion. I mean, it's sickening when you see the talent level at the defensive line group. And again, you look at what we lost. I mean, you lost Rayshard Lawrence, Brady Fihoko. These guys are going to be great pros. Good players, man. Very excited about the defensive line coaching, particularly the defensive line, the players, and what they're going to do. Bill Bush, safeties coach. Again, I've already talked about Jacoby Stevens. I mean, we saw what Grant Delpit did. You look at guys like Maurice Hampton and all them, you just see the talent in there, and they're going to develop. So shout out to Bill Bush. Does a great job developing the talent at safety. We got monsters back there. Am I missing anybody? That is all for the actual coaching staff. Yep, I talked about all of them. I want to take this last couple minutes to talk about the analysts and some of the other additions. Guys like Kelvin Shepard and Eddie Kennison, former LSU players. Kelvin Shepard was a linebacker, All-American. Eddie Kennison, former wide receiver. These guys are now the director and co-director of player development. I think that's awesome. You bring guys who were there, who played in the NFL. These are guys that the players are going to respond to. They're going to listen to these guys, once again. And then they bring the knowledge. These are guys that played in the NFL, so they bring that knowledge to the team. You bring in Benny Logan as a defensive line analyst. Benny Logan is fresh out the NFL. Benny Logan was a great player for LSU. You bring him in. I mean, that's just, you got 3 former players just in the analyst group. You got 3 former players on the coaching staff, and Corey Raymond, Steve Isminger, and who's the other guy, Kevin Falk. And now you're adding guys to the analyst group and the director of player development. It's just, the culture and the just the camaraderie all around from the coaching staff to the players. It's like a match made in heaven. And again, you have to look at the guy at the top, the guy that everybody slept on, the guy that in 2018, all of y'all said would be fired because who's going to go 6-6? The man who is the current college football coach of the year, Ed Orgeron. Bringing in Russ Callaway from Stanford, right down here down the road. We all know that Pittsburgh Steelers had to run with Stanford's former quarterback last year. And, they fared all right. We bring that in. You bring in Bo Pelini's former assistant at Youngstown State and as a defensive analyst. You add in Carter Sheridan, who came from the Saints, as another offensive analyst. And then you bring in Tyler Tettleton, who came from the Cleveland Browns as an offensive analyst. So we got all these NFL minds from former coaches or former players to go along with this coaching staff. And I think you have a great reason, just in that nucleus alone, to be very optimistic that LSU will do exactly what they did last year, but even better. Once again, this is Keaton Barry with Daily O'Shea. I appreciate y'all for tuning in, man. Subscribe, like, whatever. Give me a couple views. Give me some comments. Let me know what you think. I plan on doing some live streams with this, and so y'all can come in and I like to hear y'all talk y'all noise, because I know I'm gonna talk mines. Anybody that know me know I'm gonna talk mines. I've been talking noise. I called the undefeated season last year. I don't know if y'all saw it, but I called it. Before the season started. And anybody who watched this episode will co-sign that I called it, and I'm calling it again. Peace.